So good at that. So our first story tonight is a bit of an interview with someone that Pat met at Waitangi. One of the what do I say? One of the peoples who may have had something to do with he calls it the enhancement of the Treaty of Waitangi, the English
very
version.
much improved.
Yep, that was out. That was up at Te Papa, and it was done December 2023, and it actually was up there till April 2024 last year. My favorite thing about it is they did not take it down.
I think they did eventually.
They did eventually, but they said that they weren't. Where is it? In this article somewhere, it was all set up and now it's gone. That they did not feel the need to take it down because it was an important part of its history, and the conversation around Te Tiriti. So yeah, they left it up till between December and April. It's good on them.
Yeah. I agree. That was the smartest way to handle it. Just a little bit of context for those people that don't recall this incident. There was an advisory council that had been persisting for 2 or 3 years for Te Papa to improve this exhibition and provide more context. And that they had a real issue with the fact that they described the English part of it as a direct translation. So after going, are we going to change this? Are we going to change this? This is what we're telling you we need to do. You've asked us to advise. We're advising you. Is it happening? Are we doing it? They did it themselves. And I think Te Papa took that on the chin and realized that that is a perfect illustration of the feeling around the treaty. And the difference between the treaty and Te Tiriti. And in my opinion, I think that single action did more to illustrate their point than any other thing that they could have done. And I think it injected into the discussion more understanding that the two versions are not the same. And that is the core part of why we have the issues that we have. And there is more people talking about, like, did you ever hear, I certainly didn't before this, that there is a standard definition internationally from the UN that if there are two versions of a treaty, then it's the one in the indigenous language that must have precedence. I didn't know that until this kicked off. So I think this is a perfect example of political protest, political vandalism for an educational point of view. It's part of the story now. It's part of that exhibition. And I hope Te Papa do learn and incorporate what has happened into whatever they put up in its place.
I say kudos to them for keeping it up. I think that says a lot about their integrity and how it's, yeah. But anyways, I won't talk about it anymore because one of the people himself are going to have a chat about it and give a bit more context to what's going on. And give their experience at what's happening at Waitangi. I can't find my mouse.
I like the hoodie. Why did you take the hoodie off?
Oh, because it's hot, bro.
Okay, fair enough. BHN hoodie. Haimana for the BHN crew is one of the guys who defaced the treaty at Te Papa. Is that the way you say it?
We don't say that.
Okay, what do we say?
We say we enhanced it.
Enhanced it.
Yeah.
Do you know what's cool? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
They kept it as a part of the treaty story now, eh?
Yes. Yeah, well, it is cool, but they took a long time to get around to it.
Yeah.
And it's only because we forced them to.
Yeah.
You know, this is on the back of Matua Moana Jackson telling them right from the start, you know, look, that's not how it goes. That's not the story.
Yeah.
That's misleading.
So take a step back.
Yeah.
It's not old news, but just for people who haven't seen it, what did you do and why?
Oh, we went into Te Papa and we enhanced the English treaty
with grinders.
With grinders
blades.
and you know, spray paint.
Yeah. And why?
And because what we need the government to do is tell the truth.
Yeah.
We are a climate group,
Yeah.
believe it or not.
Yeah.
But if we can't even talk truthfully about the origins of our country, how are we ever going to get to the crisis that's facing us?
Yeah.
You know, so we went, and we also acknowledged that social justice, the social injustice,
Yeah.
that was how we've gotten into this position that we are now in today. Yeah, cool.
Greenpeace
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, I got some
Got those
too.
right? And so after that, did you guys get taken away, police, anything, or did you just walk off?
Two of our members were arrested,
Yep.
and they are being charged.
Yeah. And what's the charge?
Defacement,
Yeah.
vandalism,
Yeah.
you know, resisting arrest, that type of stuff.
How does that stick if Te Papa has basically said this is now part of the story? It's almost like Te Papa is saying there's no crime here.
There is no crime.
Yeah.
There's no crime. Te Papa have actually quietly admitted that they were in the wrong.
Yeah.
You know, that we can work with them. They don't like to admit it.
Yeah.
And especially with our minister Goldsmith,
Yeah.
he definitely did not want that art piece up there.
Right.
We're now getting asked by art galleries around the country, hey, can you ask Te Papa if they would release that art piece
To tour?
to tour?
Yeah.
And you know, they won't even say what is going to happen with that. With
Hikui's coming through. Let's move off to the side of it with the Hikui. Kia ora, team.
Kia ora. This is cool, eh?
Yeah, this is too cool, bro.
This is real cool.
I chatted with John Campbell yesterday, and my realization, this is my first time at Waitangi for Waitangi,
Yeah.
is this is not a tourist event.
No.
Most people here are Māori.
Yeah.
It's a homecoming.
Yeah. But look at how other people are getting involved and wanting to get involved too.
Yeah.
You know.
And this beside the sports field, show them the sports field, love. If you question what I'm saying, basically there's advocates in there, and basically all of them are Māori advocates. It's
Yeah.
Māori health.
Yes.
It's Māori mental
Yes.
health.
Yes.
So this is not
Yes.
a tourist.
No, it's not a tourist thing.
It's
not a-
amazing. I
yeah.
love it. We're going to try and do this every year. I don't know how, but we're going to give it a crack.
Go hard, man.
So tell us about Waitangi for you.
Waitangi for me, actually, I've got to admit, this is my first time
cool.
at Waitangi
Welcome.
for Waitangi.
We popped our cherries on the same week. so to speak.
And you're on honeymoon.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Good
we
on you.
won't use any metaphors there. Let's leave those alone. So tell people about what you do, where they can find you, the stuff that you're about. You said we're a group.
Yeah, Te Waka Haurua.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we what do? We meet. We are about action.
Yeah.
So we like taking action.
Yeah.
We encourage people to take action, and we've got a couple of actions that have led on from that, and even before, where we want to do actions that put it back in the government's face as to, look, your narrative is all over the country.
Yeah.
Our narrative is actually concealed. You know, let's highlight that. And redaction, we found out, is an academic theory.
Yeah.
We had someone doing a PhD comment on what we did and went into the academic theory about redaction. So we were like, whoa, we never thought about that.
You're like redaction, but in real life, physically removing words.
Yeah, and making up a new narrative.
Yeah.
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 There was so much in it. I was like, whoa, we never thought about
One
that.
of the messages I've heard from doing down the forum tent and looking around is a lot of people are using the word, it's time to activate. Activation.
Activate.
Like they've done everything for the last
Yes.
10, 20, 30, 40 years. And now, especially with this government, is the time to activate.
If
So-
anything, this is, I don't really want to talk about this government.
Yeah.
They are the symptom.
Yeah.
They are the symptom. What we're seeing, what we really are witnessing is that our system is in decline.
Yeah.
We have a systemic problem. We need systemic change.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that from changing the people in government unless we have people in government who are advocating for a systemic change.
Yeah.
And Māori can lead that. And I think Māori can take Pākehā and non-Māori through that, walk them through that,
Yeah.
and make sure they're safe, so that they don't get freaked out. Oh no, where are we going?
Yeah. It's so good to see you, bro. So nice to
Yeah,
meet you.
lovely to meet
And
you, brother.
come on anytime.
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah. Well,
Tell us what you're doing. We are about providing sort of an open door for others to get their messages out as well.
oh cool.
So connect with us. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah. Okay then. Okay, I'll email you
Yeah, bro.
or something. Yeah,
And enjoy Waitangi.
mean brother.
All right, man.
And you enjoy it too. Big hairy news.
That is an uncommon, I guess, concern of doing an open air interview is to have a hikoi walk through the middle of it.
Yes, very true. No, I love that.
But isn't that cool? Isn't that cool to hear about that? Yeah, like I think this is something that yeah, it's definitely part of that story now. They should put it up with the context. You know, I'm a big fan of, you know, it's like when people push down statues or they leave statues up of horrible people or that sort of thing. Leave it there. That's part of the story now. So add context to it. Is like, all right, people put up the statue of this horrible person, and now we know he's a fucking horrible person. He's all the horrible things that he did. With what was done to that display in Te Papa, that is part of its story now. Give context to the story. Let people know. Because I saw a post on Reddit today, like an American's tip for other people visiting New Zealand. And one of the things that he noticed was that in a lot of the museums that he went to, we very much still gloss over the issues between the Crown and Māori, or how Māori are treated in our society and that sort of thing. And I don't know, I read that from an American and I kind of went, telling us about how to talk about race relations. What the fuck? And like, if he's able to point it out, then we're not doing a good job in our museums of acknowledging and explaining both sides of it. You know, I think things are getting better, but I mean, that's something that maybe needs to be looked at. And hopefully Te Papa have taken what happened as a learning moment. Fingers crossed, see what they do when they put something back up, I guess.
Yeah, I love the idea of having it as like a touring art piece, though. That's quite cool.
Yeah.
I think that yeah, it's cool to see that sort of stuff actually be acknowledged. And I love he was talking about how someone had done a paper on it, and I'm like, yeah, art. If you want to get really academic and like theory about it, you can do that about everything. But I always find the breakdown or the theorizing of art and art movements and things is always quite fascinating because everything, I guess, in a lot of things in culture and society as well, everything builds from historic events and builds from a lot of context around it. So even if you don't know what you've created is referencing things, as soon as you know about stuff, you can see where the influences and references have come from. So it's quite interesting. I always loved academic art stuff.
One of my favorite examples of providing context to like a monument is actually in Edinburgh. Last time I was there, I was wandering around and there was this like big, like enormous obelisk in the middle of this lovely little square where people were having lunch and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I wonder what this is. I see some information boards around it. I went up and had a wander, and it was an obelisk to I think it's Lord or Admiral Dundas or something like that, who was a British politician, lord, whatever. But what those information boards told me about him was that he had raided the Royal Navy's essentially pension fund to build that obelisk, that a monument to himself, that he had argued in favor of continuing slavery. And was generally a horrible, horrible person. And I really like that they they did that. This man was so vain. He stole money from people to build a monument to himself while he was still alive. So now we're going to use it to tell you all the other shitty things he did. Brilliant.
No, I do love that. That's it's one way of turning things around, eh? It's like, well, gonna use it against what you wanted it to be used for. Love it.
Absolutely. Sort of tangentially to that, that is one of the reasons why I really, really wish they would rename Dundas Street in Dunedin. Because of course they named a lot of Dunedin streets after streets in Edinburgh, so they just copy pasted that one over, and it's like, oh, okay, so he's a shitty person, a slaver, and we get to have his name over here. He has nothing to do with this place. Yay, colonialism!